In our previous segment, we have discussed about the structure of tongue, that is the lingua. In the mouth parts, we are left with only one topic, that is the salivary glands. So today our major emphasis would be on the structure of the salivary gland, the location and the functions. So salivary glands. Before going into the details of salivary glands, its types and where it is located, what is gland? Gland means a group of glandular cells that has the capacity to secrete some sort of fluid as a part of their secretion. So gland means a group of glandular cells which has the capacity to secrete their secretions which are fluid in nature. These secretions may involve water, electrolytes, mainly ions, enzymes, etc. Now let us discuss about the salivary glands. So in total we have 3 pairs of salivary glands which are located. That means each gland will be present 2 in number because it is 3 pairs of salivary glands. So 3 pairs of salivary gland are located or that opens into the buccal cavity or the mouth parts. So 3 pairs of salivary glands opens in the mouth or the buccal cavity, and the 3 pairs of salivary glands are parotid salivary gland. This is the first gland, that is parotid salivary gland. The second gland is submandibular salivary gland. So the second gland is submandibular salivary gland, and the third, that is C, is the sublingual gland. So third gland is sublingual salivary gland. Parotid salivary gland, submandibular or submaxillary salivary gland, and the third one is sublingual salivary gland. We will discuss each gland at a time in detail. So let us discuss first about the parotid gland. So first of all, location. Parotid gland is located beneath the earlobe. That means if this is the mouth parts and say this is our external ear, then beneath this external ear this gland is located, and the name of the gland is parotid gland. So location wise, location where it is located beneath the earlobe, or you can also write near these cheeks parotid glands are located. So it is located beneath the earlobe or the cheek parts. It is located. That is parotid gland. So location wise it is located beneath the earlobe or the cheek parts. Now each and every salivary gland has the capacity to secrete a fluid which we call it as saliva, and this saliva has major role to play in digestion of food. So this is about the location of parotid gland. Each and every salivary gland has tubes. These tubes are called as duct. These tubes are called as duct tubes, and through these duct the glands open in some or the other parts of the salivary, in some of the other parts of the mouth or the buccal cavity. So similarly, parotid gland also opens with the help of duct, and the duct is called as Stenson's duct. So parotid gland opens with the help of duct, and the duct is Stenson's, S-T-E-N-S-E-N, Stenson's duct. Now where exactly this duct opens? This duct opens behind the second molar of the upper jaw. This duct opens behind the second molar of the upper jaw. This is very important. So parotid gland opens with the help of duct, and the duct name is Stenson's duct. This duct opens behind the second molar of upper jaw, and I hope you know what is the meaning of molar teeth. Clear? So location wise it is located beneath the earlobes. This gland opens with the help of duct, and the duct is called as Stenson's duct. And where exactly this gland opens? Behind the second molar of upper jaw. So say for example, if this is the nasal chamber part and this is the tongue part, so somewhere here, this behind the second molar of the upper jaw. So if this is the parotid gland, then somewhere here through this tube or the duct, the parotid gland will open in the buccal cavity. So let us label this as the Stenson duct. Okay. Now third major important thing or feature of the parotid gland is it is the largest salivary gland. Parotid gland is the largest salivary gland. So largest salivary gland. So this is all about the parotid salivary gland. Now let us discuss about the second gland, which is submandibular or submaxillary salivary gland. So the second is submandibular salivary gland. This gland, as the name suggests, submandibular, that is sub means beneath or below the jaw angle or below the jawbone, this gland is located. So location wise this gland is located, so location, it is beneath the jawbone or at a jaw angle, whatever you want to say. So located beneath the jawbone, you can write that is located beneath the jawbone. Second statement that we can write regarding the location is it is located at a jaw angle, and this is the area, this is the jaw angle where the submandibular submaxillary gland is located. So located at a jaw angle. Clear? Now, like parotid gland, submandibular submaxillary gland also open with the help of duct, and this duct is called as Wharton's duct. The name of the duct is very important for competitive exams. So this gland opens with the help of a duct. With the help of a duct. Duct means a kind of tube. This gland opens with the help of duct, and the name of the duct is Wharton's duct. Now, like parotid gland, this is the duct of the parotid gland is Stenson's duct, and it opens where? Behind the second molar of the upper jaw. So where this Wharton's duct will open? This duct opens near the lower incisors. This duct opens near the lower incisors. Where it opens? In the buccal or the oral cavity, that is the mouth parts. Clear? The third main important feature of submandibular submaxillary gland is this is a kind of intermediate gland, because parotid gland is the largest salivary gland, sublingual gland is the smallest salivary gland. This is a kind of intermediate salivary gland. Clear? So this is all about the submandibular submaxillary gland, that it acts beneath the jawbone, that is at a jaw angle this gland is located, and this opens with the help of duct, and the name of the duct is Wharton's duct. Where this Wharton's duct will open? Near the lower incisor, that is near this incisors means the front teeth, and it is a kind of intermediate salivary gland. Now the third salivary gland is sublingual gland. As the name suggests, lingua means, in the previous video, lingua means tongue. The tongue parts are called as lingua or the lingual. So sub means beneath. So this gland location wise sublingual, that means below the tongue, that is beneath the tongue this gland will open. So location of sublingual gland. So this is the third gland, and the name of the gland is sublingual gland. Sublingual gland location. First very important point is location. Where it is located? Beneath the tongue. It is located beneath the tongue. Second most important feature is sublingual gland. Gland is the smallest salivary gland. The largest was parotid. Intermediate was submandibular, submaxillary, and the smallest salivary gland is sublingual gland. So location wise, it is located beneath the tongue. Why beneath the tongue? Because sub means beneath, that is below. Lingua or lingual means tongue. So location wise, it is located beneath the tongue, and it is the smallest salivary gland. This is the smallest salivary gland. Of course, this gland opens where? This gland opens beneath the tongue only. Okay. Now, this gland, like parotid or submandibular, submaxillary, this gland also opens with the help of duct, and the duct name is duct of Rivinus. The name of the duct is duct of Rivinus. So, sublingual gland opens beneath the tongue with the help of one duct, and duct is a tube-like structure. This gland opens, sublingual gland opens beneath the tongue with the help of duct, with the help of a duct, and the name of the duct is duct of Rivinus, and the name of the duct is duct of Rivinus. Name of the duct is duct of Rivinus. The another name for the duct of Rivinus is Bartholin duct. Clear? Duct of the Rivinus is also called as Bartholin's duct. So this is all about the introductory part of all the salivary glands, that is parotid, submandibular as well as sublingual glands. Now let us discuss about the cells which are present predominantly in all these glands, that is parotid, submandibular as well as sublingual gland. So cells of the salivary glands. This is again a kind of subtopic within the salivary gland heading only. So we will discuss about the cells of salivary gland. Parotid salivary gland, the major cells which are predominantly found in parotid salivary gland are serous cells. So parotid salivary glands, or let us write cells of salivary glands. This is the heading, cells of salivary glands. The first gland is parotid salivary gland. Parotid salivary gland, predominantly the cells which are present in the parotid salivary glands are of serous type. So it contains, or parotid salivary glands has serous cells, SEROUS cells, serous cells. Rest two are, that is submandibular and sublingual. Both these types of salivary glands has mucus type of cells. So the cells are of mucus. So parotid salivary glands contains serous cells, while submandibular and sublingual salivary gland contains mucus cells. Now what is the speciality of this serous as well as mucus cells? Serous cells secretion contains mainly, the secretion contains water as well as enzymes. So secretion contains water as well as enzymes. Enzyme part we will discuss later on, but let us discuss the types of secretions, that is what it contains. So serous cells mainly contains water as well as enzymes. Mucus cells secretion mainly contains mucin, MUCIN, that is a kind of mucus. What is mucus? A sticky substance that is mainly required for moisturizing the various parts of a protection of the body. Mucus lining all over the body is located, whether it is respiratory, this lung region, whether it is stomach region, everywhere mucus lining cells are present. So parotid gland predominantly contains serous cells, and the secretion contains water as well as enzymes. Submandibular as well as sublingual predominantly contains mucus cells, and the secretion contains mucin, that is a kind of mucus. Now the secretion of all these three glands that is parotid gland, submandibular gland as well as sublingual gland, the secretion is called as saliva. The secretion is called as saliva. So secretion of all the three glands, that is parotid, submandibular and sublingual, secretion of all the three glands is called as saliva. Now what is the composition of saliva? The major composition of saliva is water. It contains water, electrolytes, that is the ions, and enzymes. Clear? Water as well as enzymes. Now two main types of enzymes which are present within the saliva are, so again here I am writing, enzymes in saliva are of two major types. First enzyme is called as salivary amylase and the second enzyme is called as lysozyme. So the first enzyme is called as salivary amylase and the second enzyme is called as lysozyme. Clear? Now why this salivary amylase, or what is the role of both these enzymes? Salivary amylase, the role of salivary amylase is it helps in the digestion of carbohydrate molecule. Why salivary amylase is secreted or it is present in the saliva? Because the digestion of food begins as soon as we start eating the food. That means the digestion of food starts within the buccal or the oral cavity only. And who initiate the digestion process? This enzyme. Name of the enzyme is salivary amylase. Okay. So basically salivary amylase role is to digest starch. Now what is this starch? Starch is a kind of complex molecule, that is a complex carbohydrate, that it is a complex sugar or the carbohydrate molecule, and it is broken down into maltose where in the mouth or the oral cavity. So main role of salivary amylase is to digest starch. What is the role of lysozyme? Lysozyme. The lysozyme enzyme acts as a bactericidal substance in saliva. So lysozyme acts as a bactericidal substance. Lysozyme acts as a bactericidal substance. What is the meaning of bactericidal substance? Bactericidal substance like lysozymes are those substances which has the capacity to stop the bacterial infection. That means wherever these enzymes or bactericidal substances are present, it will not allow any bacterial infection to invade. Clear? So lysozyme role is to act as a bactericidal substance. That means it kills the harmful bacteria which has came along with the food in our mouth or oral or the buccal cavity. The best example that I can give you about the bactericidal enzyme like lysozyme is, many a times you might have observed the animals, wherever there is a wound or injury in any skin part of the animals, they used to rub their tongue on that woundy part. Now why they apply or why they rub their tongue? They are actually rubbing the lysozyme which is present in their saliva. Clear? And why they are rubbing lysozyme? They are rubbing the tongue. Tongue they are rubbing, that means saliva is also rubbed in the wound or the healing this injury part. In the saliva lysozyme is present. What lysozyme will do? It will act as a bactericidal substance. That means at the site of injury or the wound area in case of animals, it stops the bacterial infection. So this is the role of these two enzymes in saliva. And what is saliva? The secretion of all these three glands, that is parotid, submandibular as well as sublingual glands. Clear? Now few things about the saliva also. Saliva, like pH of saliva is, pH of saliva is approximately 6.8. On the daily basis, approximately 1 to 1.5 liters of saliva is secreted by all these three salivary glands in a day. That is 1 to 1.5 liters of saliva is secreted by all these three salivary glands. Now the question is, why the pH? What is pH? Power of hydrogen ion or hydronium ion, that you will study in the chemistry also, is 6.8. Why this pH? Naturally it is set The reason is very simple. Salivary amylase is an enzyme, and enzymes are protein. Enzymes are protein in nature. All the proteins, when they have to function or when they have to act in the living body, they act at a particular temperature, they act at a particular pH, and the pH, the optimum pH of salivary amylase is 6.8. Optimum pH means what? The pH at which salivary amylase effect is maximum. That means it will initiate the digestion and it will complete the digestion to its maximum level. That is the meaning of optimum pH. And the pH of salivary amylase is 6.8. That's why the pH 6.8 is set as the pH of saliva. Now, salivary amylase enzyme. Few facts about the salivary amylase enzyme are that salivary amylase enzyme is absent in the domestic animals as well as carnivorous animals also. So, few facts about the salivary amylase. The first is salivary amylase is absent in first, that is domestic animals like cow as well as buffalo, and carnivorous like lion and tiger, and pigs are the special animals where saliva contains salivary amylase. So pig saliva has salivary amylase. Okay, so this is all about the cells which are present in the saliva, few facts about the saliva and what is the role of these enzymes and where salivary amylase is present. Now, few more things regarding the salivary gland is that whenever we see any food or we talk about the food or we smell, what we observe first in our mouth, that our mouth start watering. Mouth is full of water. Now from where this water comes? At that time, it is a kind of anticipation that now we are going to eat the food, or kind of anticipation that the food will enter into our mouth or the buccal cavity. So at that time, the gland which is activated is parotid gland, and the gland which is activated is parotid gland. So first important thing to notice, parotid gland, when it gets activated, when we talk about the food or when we smell any food. So it is activated when we talk of the food or we smell any food. Now when this parotid gland is activated, just now we have seen that the secretion of the parotid gland is mainly of serous type. That means it contains mainly water. So of course when the secretion contains water, and that is around 99% water is present in the saliva, so that's why we feel the mouth is watery, or we say the watery mouth. So activated when we talk of food or we smell, it is kind of anticipation that the food will now enter into our mouth. At that time the saliva is secreted, and that saliva contains maximum amount of water. That's why we feel or we say the mouth is watery, or the watery mouth is there. So this is the first thing that we know for parotid gland. Now many a times we all have observed that the players, mainly these cricketers, they have a habit of spitting in the ground. Now at that time there is no food, there is no smell of the food, but why they spit? And the spit contains, or the spit is kind of very thick. That means water in the spit is there, but it is very less. So at that time, when there is no anticipation of the food, that means we are not smelling the food, we are not talking of the food. At that time also saliva is secreted, and that too is very thick saliva is secreted out. That is because of the activation of the rest of the two glands of the saliva. The rest two glands are submandibular gland or sublingual gland. So what these two glands will do? These glands when activated, and we just now see that the secretion of these two glands are of mucus type. That means water will be less, mucus will be more. So saliva of cricketers or mainly players, where when they spit is very thick. Why it is thick? Because of the activation of these two glands. So this is all about the detailed version of salivary glands, locations as well as functions. In the next part we will discuss about the tubular regions of the alimentary canal, that is the pharynx and the esophagus.